ladies and gentlemen, while we get the music on and our groove on, it is the second match of Druidz Daax versus Vandelay, a best of 7 series from Team Druidz. It is the Red Zerg Daax spawning here in the top of Daybreak, and his opponent Vandelay, the scary Terran player. I've said this before about Vandelay, but he just explodes with action, 3-pronged medevac drops, and moving across the map with tanks and following it up with getting everything. His upgrades were right, everything was right, so just awesome. Well, I noticed to swap the players here on the overlay, but wow. And I do remember this from I do remember this from the first series that Daax and Vandelay played. They had actually it turned out to be a really close series, but the first 3 games went to Vandelay straight up, and he just really caught Daax by surprise. His macro games were good, but also he had a couple of really goofy games. He opened with a double Starport Banshee, he opened with double Barracks, like completely different build, and that was really nice. But Daax, he's not afraid, man. He's just going a 15 pool and, well, I suppose 15 hatch. I mean, would really be suicidal not to get a hatch, right? Or a pool. But oh well. Will we see the same build from Vandelay though? He went into a quick command center last game, no gas, and well, this will just be a scout. But from this, I'm actually expecting him to do that the second time, yes. There goes the SUV to follow it up. And Daax, will we see the same play out of him as well? Well, can't really tell yet. Pool just has to finish up, and then we'll see from his gas timing what he intends to do. Maybe he wants to do some roaches. Actually, I've watched TLO play some games today. The replay pack was just released, and he just plays an awesome style whereby sometimes he goes for well, basically he always goes quick third hatch. It's around 6 minutes, but then he has this variation where he follows it up with roaches and a Nidus, and he uses Overlords to drop the roaches in the base of his opponent and then put a Nidus there as well. And actually the Nidus is there to kill the opponent if he can. Well, we see Daax defending against this in a nice manner. Actually the Marine was a bit overzealous, went behind the hatchery, couldn't retreat. But then TLO also can use the Nidus to retreat from his enemy's base into his own if he needs to defend it or if the opposition is too strong. So really nice idea, really innovative, and I'm wondering whether Zergs will incorporate more of those kind of plays into their style, but too early yet to tell. We see just regular 2 gas like we saw last game. Well, Vandelay is moving aggressively across the map with these Marines. Actually, third hatch going up again. Last game it was cancelled by the exact same combination here, an SCV, some Marines, and while they are trying to look for an Overlord, that SCV was really there to scout the third hatchery going down, and immediately upon seeing it, Vandelay decides to put down a bunker, and well, Daax has 2 lanes out. He must suspect this play, and the Marines are completely out of position, so they will be able to get this SCV. Very nice, and Vandelay immediately cancels. So, alright, no cancel on the third this game, which is a nice win for Daax, I suppose. But also, of course, different from last game. Vandelay going for a 1-1-1, switching it up, so we will. This is for Banshee, I suppose. Yes, definitely. Yes, there we go. I like that, and I also remember from the first series this bunker being completely walled in by supply depots. It makes it so hard to kill, and I've actually not seen many players do this, but it's actually quite strong. So, Banshee coming down, no cloak, following it up with again a bio play, which is nice, because usually, or lately, we've seen a lot of Terran players go very much into mech, and actually these Hellions will make it look like Vandelay is going mech, which might put Daax in the wrong kind of spot. But, well, there's a Spine Crawler here, but maybe if he knew what was coming he would like to place a Spore Crawler, but although there's no cloak coming, so Queens would be able to defend against this, but oh well. So I like that Daax generally going for the same build that he was going last time, but just getting it off a little bit better. I mean, he didn't have to cancel his third, which of course on Ohana is very difficult to get anyways, behind the rocks. And now we can see maybe what he intended to do with this build all along. I mean, in the first game there was a push right around now, and the evolution chamber got taken down, but that's not in the stars for this game. But this will be a strong bio push, and we'll be seeing tanks as well. We might, as soon as he has the gas for it, for which he should be taking his third base, by the way. There goes the poor Zergling. Infestation pit again for Daax. Well, he will need it. And this looks like a kind of a skimpy defense, but it can also be very strong while this fourth is actually being taken. And that also explains the lack of investment in anything else. He just wants to get his infestors up, defend with Lings, infestors, and if he really needs to, a Baneling or two. But Vandelay, this will be a scary timing because of this, and well, Vandelay does have Stim instead of Combat Shield as he had last game, and this Banshee adds, or actually two Banshees add a lot of DPS to this army as well, so it will really be up to Daax to find a way to counter this, and it's not by losing these Queens here in the middle of the map. What were they doing, Queens? But now the Zerglings stream in and they get a nice surround, but the Medivacs picks up all of them nicely, and the second Queen falls as well, so nothing can harm these Banshees for now, but there's Spore Crawler already. I like that reaction timing from Daax. And Vandelay is biding his time. Now the Marines come out and immediately start to well away at the creep tumors here. Daax in position though, and we don't see any double pronged attacks like we did last game, which makes it just a little bit easier to hold off. But will Vandelay spot the fourth? Yes, he does. Just to get his overlord, I guess, but still it's rather nice. I will actually these two Banshees are too strong for the Queen. While more Zerglings try to pick off these Marines, but look at that, just a single Marine, a single Medivac Marine doing so much damage to these picking it up. I like how Vandelay is using every opportunity to do damage, and these Banshees need to get away against the infestors. Will they get fungled? Yes, there a good fungal goes off, and those Banshees will fall now. Second fungal even. Just to show you guys, in the meantime, of course, Vandelay taking his third, walling it off even, very nice. Now dropping here, and probably will stim and try to take down this base. Come on, you can do it. Well, he will do so at his own time. There we see the Marines moving. And there we go. stimming in, taking down the queen, trying to get the medevacts out. They just do, but now they get fungled, and that will take care of the medevacts. But those marines were dead anyway when they stimmed in here. They won't be able to get the hatch because of the nice reaction timing from Daax here. But Vandelay moving just a bit across the map. He's taking more factories, getting into more medevacts, building more command centers. But I like Daax has a more map presence this game. He kept, he didn't have to cancel his third, he held on to his fourth right there. And the second medevac though, it might be a problem because there was a spore crawler here, it's gone now. Vandelay though, going the safer route, unloading up there. So what will Daax be doing? We see a Greater Spire morphing. That's just a spine crawler. Here is the Spire morphing into the Greater Spire, and that will be trouble for Vandelay, although he's already building some Vikings. Let's see. How many Vikings can he build? Well, just 2 at a time. He will need to be very cautious with those. Well, we see the Marines come in, take down another queen yet, and the drones have to be pulled. The entire army responds from Daax. Now they do try to target down the hatch, but the Zerglings will be there in time. Did a Marine just say mother? I don't know, but so there's a nice spreader, and look at the amount of damage that Vandelay keeps doing with these small groups of Marines. He tries to pick off the queen, but it doesn't work, so he instead targets down the creep tumors. But there's an army of corruptors here coming in to stop any and all play. But can Daax actually get this medevac in time? Yes, it looks like he will. There's the welcoming committee, and the medevac goes down. This is the one thing, these medevacs keep dying to this this spore crawler. Well, it has one kill now, but almost managed to get a couple more medevacs. Well, these Marines are into a corner, and the medevac gets taken down as well. But let's see, Vandelay is just building one Viking now at a time. He has added in more starports. Those he will really need, because 8 Brood Lords on the way, 3 already on the map, and this is going to be a very, very, very strong and scary army from Daax. As I said, he just kept the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th base alive against all harassment, which is, funny enough, all that Zerg needed. So you see the Terran just wailing away at the Zerg, just again and again and again, dropping, doing damage, trying to stem the flow of the creep spreading everywhere. But a really strong Zerg player, as Druidz Daax is, they will manage to grow their economy, grow their army despite of that. And look at this army, and a misscan. It sees no army here, but soon Vandelay will realize that the rocks are no longer there, and a huge swath of Broodlords coming in. There are a lot of Vikings there now, but the Corruptors coming in as well. This is hugely clumped up army, but there is no mothership, of course. Wouldn't the Terran wish, but look at that. Where did all these Vikings come from? And now the Fungals go down. I would have liked to see them earlier, because there's really those Fungals could have really changed the course of that battle, I feel, because look at how much energy there's left. Daax underestimated the strength of that army and the strength of all those Vikings, and lost most of his Broodlords there without any reason and without any gain. And while I was going on about the strength of the Zerg army, then Vandelay is showing us how it can actually be battled. Alright, neither player has a bank though, and well, they're maxed out, that will start to change. But Vandelay not going for, as sometimes you see players like Casco do, for example. They will just build enormous amounts of orbital commands and then spam all those mules. Maybe sacrifice their SCVs as well. And of course that will give them plenty of scans as well. But Vandelay not one of those players, apparently. But alright. So Daax positioning himself at all possible angles in regard to this army, but also a nice scouting buffer, of course. Just 3 Marines coming in, and those will get taken care of quickly. And now we see all of them moving in at once. Now a lot of energy is used. The infested Terrans are... Look at those infested Terran numbers. My computer even almost can't handle it. Nice fungals there, but it looks like the army is just too strong. The Broodlord's falling again because they can't retreat. They're too slow. Only one very, very low health Ultralisk surviving, and this is the cue for Vandelay to move up. He unsieges his tanks and moves forward. He has so many Vikings left, and the Thors, 2/2 upgrades, and the tanks can siege up, and this... Actually the Vikings landing, realizing that there's not much point in them in the air, and... Well, infestors are strong. Actually, they're quite strong. This mech force is getting cleaned up, and a nice fungal. Look at that fungal. Everything on the ground getting cleaned up finally. So a bit of an overstretch from Vandelay, but now we see as well in the supply count that Daax is able to max out much faster than Vandelay. But there is planetary fortresses here. Can he take that down? It looks like... well, he needs to pull his damage dealing units, the Ultras, to fight these Thors, but they get taken down so quickly by the combined fire of all this. And now the second planetary fortress is being repaired. Turn, Imba, repair. But nice attempt there from Daax to finish off that base. He had an opportunity. But in the meantime, Vandelay is taking the base here at the top, and yeah, dropping all those mules. I would like it if Daax is maybe spammed a couple of Zerglings. I mean, he's almost maxed out, but if he had some Zerglings, he could just run by there, try to keep the Terran kind of immobile force here busy. But look at the flank that Daax is attempting, but the tanks do so much damage, and again Ultralisk falling quickly, Marauders also being into the army mix from Vandelay, and again Daax needs to retreat with his army, losing so many units on the way back. Even Infestors falling, and this what's left of the Vikings, actually look at the kill count there. If those were all Broodlords and Corruptors, that's not a good thing. And we see one more Broodlord being morphed in, but against so many Vikings remaining and tanks sieging up, this is looking increasingly dire for Daax. And look at the income difference now as well. Terran usually in front with those mules, of course. Here we have another engagement. The Ultralisks try to target the Thors, but the Bio army just has a huge concave on them, and they all die. And now GG. Daax falling rapidly in supply, and he couldn't deal with that army any longer. Such a nice game. It was a really different game from last time. Then Vandelay, of course, really microing his heart out and beating Daax this way. But yeah, in this game we saw really different style, just macking it up, having a strong map presence and awareness. Of course, trying lots of drop and harass, but Daax defended all that, and then overextended just a few times, I think, and went down from that.